Pakistan will completely destroy Israel. That explosive line, attributed to the voice of Donald Trump, burst onto social media feeds like a shockwave, leaving viewers around the world stunned and scrambling to find out if the former president of the United States had truly uttered such a brazen threat. The deepfake video, making its rounds on popular platforms in the midst of escalating tensions between Israel and Iran, presented an apparently real speech by Donald Trump, who seemed to claim that Pakistan's might stands second only to Iran. The purported scenario? That if Israel launched even a single additional strike against Iran, Pakistan would rain down such destruction that it would wipe Israel off the map. The entire clip was accompanied by boldly designed subtitles, authoritative voice modulation, and an air of urgency that made it utterly convincing at first glance. But was it actually real? Today, we delve into the heart of this mind-boggling affair as we uncover the dark world of artificial intelligence-driven misinformation, global conflicts, and the urgent need for truth in an era awash with viral hoaxes and sensational claims. What is really going on here? How does a single fake video manage to stir up so much debate and confusion? And what should we, as citizens of the digital age, do to protect ourselves from getting entangled in webs of deceit that threaten to distort our global narrative? We will unpack each layer of this scandal, taking you on a journey through the mechanics of deepfake technology, the actual positions held by relevant world leaders, and the broader historical context of the disputes between Israel and Iran. Our goal is to shed light on how one piece of artificially generated content can harness collective anxieties, exploit existing geopolitical tensions, and even risk setting entire factions on a collision course. And, by the end of this deep dive, you will walk away with a clearer understanding of how volatile and vulnerable the information landscape has become. Now, before we unravel the technology behind this viral clip, let us firmly establish the key developments that set the stage. According to reliable sources in Washington, tensions between Israel and Iran have been smoldering for decades, often flaring into episodes of clandestine actions, missile tests, and fierce rhetoric. Al Jazeera reports that in recent months there have been renewed confrontations involving sporadic missile attacks, unprecedented cyber offensives, and open suspicions regarding nuclear ambitions. Any rumor or statement that upholds the idea of a broader regional conflict naturally garners massive attention, as citizens worldwide attempt to understand where the next flashpoint might erupt. Into this incendiary climate stepped a supposed pronouncement by Donald Trump, widely shared with the sensational claim that he was warning Israel to stand down before the destructive capabilities of Pakistan's military. The text accompanying the clip hammered home the message that Trump was praising Iran's strategic importance, cautioning Israel not to provoke Iranian defenses any further, and slyly suggesting that Pakistan, a nuclear-armed state with a formidable military, could be a powerful ally for Iran if hostilities persisted. Yet, the footage did more than simply highlight alleged alliances. It fostered an atmosphere of fear and suspicion, fueling speculation that a hidden axis might be emerging in the region. Naturally, viewers questioned whether these remarks were part of a new foreign policy stance, or if they were an outlandish fabrication. We all know Donald Trump's statements can be provocative, but the suggestion of an outright call for Pakistan to obliterate Israel was on a completely different level. Fact-checking websites such as Vishwas News soon weighed in, weaving together the real story behind the manipulated audio and doctored visuals. It turned out that the original video, which dated back to 2016, showed Donald Trump discussing economic development measures. The viral clip had replaced his original words with a sinister narrative, capitalizing on the power of synthetic media to twist a speech into a sensational cry for warfare. In short, it was an almost textbook illustration of how advanced digital tools can recast the mold of public perception with just a few deft edits. How exactly did these digital puppeteers manage to pull off such a strikingly authentic ruse? Deepfake technology, built on machine learning and artificial intelligence algorithms, is capable of ingesting countless data points, video footage, audio recordings, facial expressions, and spinning them into a seamless production that mimics the source. By cross-referencing the timbre, pitch, and rhythm of Donald Trump's voice from numerous existing recordings, the creators of this spurious clip were able to layer new dialogues onto old footage, producing a near-flawless result. The mouth movements aligned precisely with the fabricated speech, The body language matched his characteristic hand gestures, and the lighting seamlessly blended, leaving almost no trace of tampering to the casual observer. It is a chilling reminder that in the era of technologically driven illusions, seeing is not always believing. Yet, it is crucial to note that the process of unveiling such forgeries is more advanced than ever. Experts from organizations like the Reuters Institute have honed specialized forensic tools for analyzing image artifacts, voice patterns, and editing inconsistencies. These modern-day digital detectives can sift through hours of material to identify the minute discrepancies that betray an artificial creation. But here is the million-dollar question. How many people already shared the video or formed their opinions before the debunk came to light? When a spurious statement from a globally recognized figure hits social media at lightning speed, the public's reaction can be immediate and sometimes irreversible. If you find this revelation as unsettling as we do, take a moment to show your support by sharing this story with friends who might still be in the dark. We cannot afford to let dangerous misinformation creep into our news feeds unchecked. So, a small action now can make a huge difference in preserving clarity and understanding. Let us take a step back and explore the real geopolitical dimensions behind this incident. Pakistan, for one, has consistently affirmed that it does not seek to be an aggressor in global conflicts, especially ones that do not directly involve its territorial sovereignty or strategic interests. Its historical relationship with both the United States and various Middle Eastern powers has always straddled a delicate line, shaped by regional security issues, counterterrorism efforts, and economic cooperation. Iran, on the other hand, has had a long-standing rivalry with Israel, steeped in complex historical grievances, ideological differences, and proxy battles across the Middle East. Suffice to say, if any supposedly authentic proclamation by a major politician suggested that Pakistan was willing and prepared to destroy Israel at the first provocation from Iran's adversaries, it would be a fomentation of monumental scale. But the official stance from Islamabad has not indicated any such alliance or intention. In truth, most diplomatic channels and official spokespeople from Pakistan and Iran focus on attempts to de-escalate tensions, at least publicly. Even if behind closed doors, there is always a swirling undercurrent of strategic posturing. What this viral deepfake ultimately demonstrates is the capacity for modern misinformation to cunningly exploit pre-existing anxieties. A random viewer who is only vaguely aware of Middle Eastern politics might see the clip, recall that Pakistan is a nuclear power, then translate that knowledge into a completely false notion that a major war is imminent. Factor in the reality that Donald Trump has always been a polarizing figure with a reputation for provocative rhetoric, and the clip's believability skyrockets. Indeed, it hits all the right triggers: fear, uncertainty, and the sense that something big is happening right now that no one wants you to know about. That is the cunning formula behind much of today's viral deception. The original footage, shot far back in 2016, featured Donald Trump speaking about economic development and not once hinting at the concept of launching any kind of destructive campaign. But the cunning deepfake superimposed an entirely new speech over his gestures. This phenomenon underscores a bigger problem. Once an untruthful statement is launched into the public domain, it can be nearly impossible to rein it in. In an age where click-through rates and the pursuit of viral content often overshadow thorough fact-checking, hoaxes can travel halfway around the globe before the truth has even begun to stir. As soon as the deepfake was debunked by Vishwas News and other reputable outlets, the conversation shifted among more informed audiences to the critical issues of accountability and regulation. Who is behind this video's creation? Does it originate from a small group of mischievous online trolls, or is there a more sinister propaganda machine at work, striving to sow discord between nations and electorates? While official investigations are ongoing, the content's virality showcases the power of these synthetic manipulations. They can effectively blacken a leader's reputation, distort historical record, and even come perilously close to igniting political or military escalation. Considering the stakes, the rapid pace at which artificial intelligence is evolving has prompted calls for stricter guardrails, both from a technological standpoint and from a legal framework perspective. Yet, as with any new frontier, legislation often struggles to keep up with innovation. This makes it all the more imperative for each of us to stay vigilant, because once you have seen a major public figure evidently call for devastation, it can be challenging to let go of that memory, even if your rational mind later discovers that it was all just a clever lie. Misinformation can embed itself in our subconscious, shaping not just our beliefs, but also our emotional reactions, our political affiliations, and ultimately our collective future. But let us not forget that amid the uproar, the fundamental call for caution stands out. We must be discerning consumers of online content. Far too often, a headline alone can trigger mass indignation or spur digital mobs into action. Once that wave of sentiment has taken hold, it becomes increasingly difficult to dislodge. The best remedy is to pause, reflect, and verify. Consult credible fact-checking sources, examine the context, and remember that official statements from governments and major international bodies will be documented through formal channels. When a suspicious video pops up, especially one presenting a radical stance from a high-profile figure, a moment of skepticism can be invaluable. Seek out transcripts of original speeches. Compare the facial movements, looking for subtle signs of distortion or mismatch. Take note if the claims align with known positions that the public figure has actually held in the past. Above all, do not allow yourself to be swept up in the shock or awe of a single snippet without investigating further. That is how we keep a level head in a swirling sea of competing narratives. If this storyline has you on the edge of your seat, do not forget to subscribe for future insights and thorough breakdowns of digital controversies. Your curiosity could be the key to staying ahead of the next viral hoax or manipulated clip that might otherwise flood your timeline and disrupt the discourse. Historical context can also serve as a bulwark against misinformation. If we are aware of the consistent friction points in Middle Eastern geopolitics, we will see how easy it is for malicious actors to conjure up a fictitious crisis based on real tensions. Israel and Iran's rivalry has been shaped by decades of mutual suspicion, proxy battles in places like Syria and Lebanon, and deep-seated ideological disagreements. Both nations have formidable military capabilities, and the possibility of escalation always lurks ominously whenever an incident occurs. Meanwhile, Pakistan's role in global affairs is multifaceted, influenced by its strategic geographic location and its nuclear arsenal. It has, at different times, maintained collaborations with the United States and other Western nations, but it also shares boundaries with Iran and has historic ties that can ebb and flow depending on regional alliances. A crafty manipulator needs only a few seeds of truth to grow an entire garden of illusions. By presenting a scenario in which Donald Trump seems to confirm a geopolitical realignment, the deepfake leverages pre-existing speculations, some grounded in plausible reality, others purely ephemeral, to craft a believable but utterly baseless narrative. Had it been a clumsy hack job, riddled with inconsistent lip sync or poor editing, the story might have passed by unnoticed. However, the precision with which modern AI can replicate voices and body movements has pushed us into a new chapter of our digital evolution, one where illusions can masquerade as bulletproof facts. That is precisely why a critical eye is our most powerful resource. Even as offense and defense strategies develop in the technology realm, each of us holds a personal responsibility to question and verify. Just as we once learned to identify phishing scams in our inboxes, we must now train ourselves to think twice whenever we encounter sensational video clips. The stakes are higher than ever because these illusions, left unchecked, can transform into catalysts for social unrest or even international crises. In conclusion, the notorious deepfake portraying Donald Trump as a proponent of Pakistan's total annihilation of Israel stands as a sobering testament to the meddlesome potency of misinformation in the digital era. It utilized authentic footage from 2016, cleverly edited with advanced AI tools, to stoke anxiety in a world already brimming with uncertainty. For a few tense hours, social media exploded with arguments about whether the remarks were genuine, giving rise to heated debates across continents and fueling myriad conspiracy theories that seized upon the existing friction in the Middle East. Only after diligent investigations by fact-checkers did it become clear that the entire affair was a ruse, albeit a highly effective one. By exposing how a single video can harness real historical tensions, public figures' reputations, and the unstoppable momentum of viral sharing, we glean an urgent lesson about our collective vulnerability. No one is immune to digital deception, especially when it aligns with prior beliefs or ignites strong emotions. The remedy? Ongoing vigilance, robust fact-checking, and a willingness to calibrate our perspectives as new information arises. The lines between truth and fiction have never been easier to blur, and that demands mindful engagement from each one of us. Let this story serve as both a cautionary tale and a clarion call for the future. In times of crisis or confusion, we must strive to confirm sources, weigh evidence, and lift the veil on any suspicious piece of content before jumping to conclusions. Because, in the end, reality rests on a delicate foundation of shared understanding, a foundation that deepfakes and other manipulative tools are more than ready to shake if we allow them the chance. As we wrap up this deep dive, consider how you, too, might be vulnerable to persuasive illusions. The ultimate defense is knowledge, which is why the journey we have taken together is so critical. By staying curious, refusing easy sensationalism, and remembering that digital forgeries can sow real damage, we empower ourselves to protect what truly matters: the integrity of our information and the stability of our global conversations.